What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Duality Podcast, where our motto is living comfortably uncomfortable. My name is Ian Perez, joined by Jonathan Mercado, Victor Rivera, and Chris Sora. We're four ordinary dudes with extraordinary dreams. Jonathan, take it away, dude.
Guys, I got to keep that same energy. Y'all ready? I got to keep the same energy. Y'all ready? Let's do this. Here comes the... Oh, shit, I messed up the clap. Hey, I don't know how my clap goes. If you watch this on YouTube, guys, subscribe. It's funny. My wife says she'll only watch it on YouTube because she loves watching everyone's reaction. So, got to keep the same energy. Here we go. What's up, everyone? And thank you for tuning into another episode where we learn to grow from the inside out. We turn our dreams into realities. We stop all the wishing and we start learning to take action. Today's episode is called Next Play. All right. We're going to be focused on the topic dwelling and how to stop all the procrastination of dwelling, how to stop all the what ifs, what could have been, and how to start focusing on the future so you can start maneuvering faster and getting to where you want to be. So we studied hard on this, guys, and I think we have some good nuggets. So at the end of this podcast, I want you to go to our YouTube channel. I want you to go to our Instagram. I want you to go anywhere where we are. And I need you to leave a comment of one nugget that you took away from today's podcast. So that way, in case we miss something, the nugget that you might have said, or maybe a perspective that you have, I want to hear it. We want to hear it. And so, Elizabeth, if you're listening to this, don't listen to Victor. Keep commenting because it helps out. It helps out, guys. So if y'all listening, hey, just comment, right? Even if you didn't take a nugget, say, hey, guys, consistency, y'all are on it. I appreciate it, right? We're still here. We're still getting things done, moving the needle. But we're going to jump straight into the arena of fire, guys, which is that accountability. And let's pop this bad boy off. Accountability time, guys. What's up?
I haven't read or worked out this week, so that's that.
Shit.
Yeah, strong start. It's a strong start to the week, but it's Tuesday, so I still got 3 days to get shit done.
Well, I think we're talking about, when do we do the podcast? Thursday? Last Thursday?
Last Thursday. I guess, yeah, it's kind of close. I'm talking about this week, yeah. But yeah, I mean, for accountability purposes this week, I'm calling myself out. I haven't done nothing.
I want to know the weekends is where you can really tell somebody, it can like split the difference between two different people. Like, what do you do on the weekends? I had to analyze that. And I was like, man, there's a whole lot of time on the weekends. Like, there's a whole lot of downtime. Like, to be honest, I stay with them. I'm with my family, but I end up on my phone, or I'm like, I'm doing something that is not very productive. Anyways, hey man, we still should be able to get some shit done on the weekends. I was able to do podcast stuff on the weekends, which is why I'm enjoying, right? I can have that productivity for the podcast. Who's next?
It's from the last recording. I've had one workout and I still just need to finish and I read a little bit more. I have one more chapter left in my book.
Show off. Whatever, dude.
But I haven't done as much as I should. I only read one chapter since then.
Yeah, I would say, man, props to, I think from all of us, Chris is probably the only one that's been like really consistent on like every book. So which is great.
Hey, you gotta stop. This is like the first time that I'm not freaking reading. I'm consistent. I should just get tattooed consistent on my chest.
Ooh. One thing I'll take as a win. I took Victor's advice and I put a bedtime on my phone, so like it goes off like at 10:30 to like remind me to chill. So I'm going to sleep by 11 when normally I'd be on my phone till like midnight, if not more. So I'm sleeping pretty good.
Man, I don't know how I've ever been. I think I could count the times in the last couple of years I've gone to bed at midnight. Oh. But as far as accountability, I am sucking right now as far as the book reading. I even chose the next book. I told you guys I would, and I haven't. So that's going to be in my to-do list this week. Get one book, start reading that bad boy. Working out, I've been off and on. So today I went to run. Last week it was mostly just running. So there maybe 3 runs. So usually I work out 4 or 5 times a week. So I haven't done that. So trying to get back on it. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
I see a little side delt popping out there, buddy. It might just be the angle, or the lighting. The lighting. You're trying to Instagram us, bro. you're trying to do. I was kind of upset, man. Mr. Ian edited out all my arms in my last podcast. And I was all like looking, I was like trying to check out my games for a quick second. I was like, you couldn't see my arms or nothing.
Did I?
It's
The
time.
overlay?
I'm
Oh.
gonna go ahead and like lower the screen so that way.
All the arms come
He's
out.
just going to be like this the whole podcast.
No, I know. Everybody knows
gonna
you
be
flex
like-
every movement you
He's gonna
make.
be like flexing, touching his ear every
Yep.
every 5 seconds.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I've been flexing all my life. Like, y'all remember going to PE and they make you sit down and the PE teachers all teaching you how to throw and shit. And the crisscross applesauce, right? So I used to put my elbows on my knees and I used to flex the entire time, bro. I'm like freaking like, hey, my arms getting tired. But I was always trying to impress the girls. Like it's always been me, and I'm just flexing the entire time.
It's so
There's
funny.
Core memory of I remember exactly like almost what I was wearing, sitting down trying to flex in front of a girl. They didn't notice though. What's up, Chris? Oh, Chris already went, huh?
Yeah, I already
Yeah,
wet
yeah.
you, fool.
Everybody, it's on you.
Yeah, I just gotta I told you guys I've been on that high, that momentum, just feeling great about everything. Except for the book reading. I'm gonna be straight up on the book reading. That's one thing that I've been slipping. But it's because I want to let you guys know we live in life of seasons, right? There's certain things in your life that just take priority right now. And like Victor. So Victor's, been off the book game, but he's been up on the leadership game, right? He's been up on the leadership game, up on event planning, up on making sure the team is doing phenomenal. So it runs through seasons, and you don't ever need to feel like, man, you're letting yourself down, because you have to realize we go through seasons. There's no life work balance type scenarios. I don't believe in that. I don't know about you guys, but I believe that it just goes through seasons, and you have to accept the season that you're in. Not as an excuse, but accept it, dominate that season, and then kind of recover back where you need to recover, kind of balance you out mentally. So I feel like that's where I'm at, or not really. I feel like I could be on point with everything. I just haven't found that book, right? Because I'm hard-headed. I don't want to stop reading a book, even though it's not. Y'all know how I am. Like, I'm just committed, right? Yeah. I told you about the last podcast. So
Yeah,
I just need to flip books.
last time.
Somebody talk to me, like help me out. Like this is what I have y'all here for. Should I just stop the book and just pick something else up, man?
I would just do it. I mean, that's what I took the advice. It's like, hey, let's drop that book. It's not tingling the brain at all. So like, yeah. So we just gotta keep going.
Something needs a tingle.
Yeah. No, yeah, I say drop it, man, because you're just gonna dread it, and the odds of something sticking is probably very small.
Yeah, you want to read something. I would say this. There's one thing. That's why if you want to self-develop, you gotta make it work. There's no point of reading something if you're not gonna. It's not gonna stay with action or.
You don't want to just read something just to read it, just to knock out the book. Like you want to actually do something that's going to benefit you.
No check marks.
I got a dilemma. I only got 1 credit, and my son needs a book. So I just steal it from him and be like, yo, I'm out of credits. No, I'll give it to him, bro. He's been asking like, yo, where's my book at? I'll give it to him, and I'll purchase one. Damn. Or just upgrade my membership on Audible.
So how's that work? So you get an X amount of credits a month, or
you get one a month?
1 a month, 1 credit a month. And I've been having Audible for like years back. So when I started self-development, I had all these credits, boy. I was just buying books left and right. And then I realized, I only have 1 credit a month, which I didn't realize, because I had it was just stacking up credits for years. And I was like, oh shit. So I was buying up all these books. And now I'm at my limit. So I think I need to upgrade, because ideally we do once a month, me and my son. So I can't be paying $34 for a freaking book. I'm just upgrade the membership. Unless I want to share that bad boy like Netflix.
No, Doug, I cut mine off. I had like 4 extras and I cut it off. I was like, I'll buy it again once I catch up on these 4 credits.
That's good. All right, guys. Hey, well, before we jump into a fun topic, Chris, I don't know if you want to share the news. I don't know if you want to do something flashy. We didn't talk about it. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm like,
Lord. Spit it out.
Well, looks like we got our first offer accepted.
That's
Yeah,
fucking
dope.
dope.
more excitement though.
Yeah.
Hey, where's that clapper sound? Where's that clapper sound? That
Yeah,
clap
it's
sound?
on the setup
the
that's not
sound
even set up. Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like just like right now. I'm not trying to get too excited because who knows what can happen.
Yeah.
So
Deals
what's
fall
after?
through all the time.
Yeah.
What-
So what's
what's-
after? What's
Yeah.
after this?
We need to,
Once we close, then we can start rehabbing it, and
Yeah.
and then eventually sell it.
contractors. So after this, I don't know, Chris. We haven't really discussed it.
It's like, all right,
Yeah.
we're just so
Like,
excited.
What are we supposed to do after this?
Accepted. It went to our attorney.
Yeah.
It's going to the lender right now to just confirm, is this money worth lending to?
Yeah.
We'll review it. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get an answer back. He'll give us the okay. We have earnest money, $1,000 owed by Friday. So I mean, if we put that money down, and you know, anything could happen. What's it like? It's like when you're trying to buy a house. Like if you're trying to buy your personal house and you're like, you don't want to get too excited because this is the house, it's the perfect one. Like, like you don't want any other house, but you know, you can't get too excited because you know anything could happen. Somebody could just sweep in and just come up with a better offer. Have y'all experienced that? I bought some. Chris bought some.
I never
I
bought
don't
a
know.
house yet.
Yeah.
I mean, they
So
can't do that now because we signed a contract. But
just because you have the contract and it's like anything could happen, it's like what do I do?
yeah, but I mean, as far as another offer, like they can't get another offer now. But but something else can happen, which would make it fall through.
Either way, fellas, it's
I say
it's good stuff.
let's celebrate this on a win that something got accepted after 8 months.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
In. I told my wife, Chris, you tell your wife?
Yeah, I told her.
Yeah, I did it like non-climatic way. We were actually arguing.
It's like the
Oh, yeah?
worst time.
Well, we just got our first offer.
That's probably when I sell this house, you ain't getting nothing.
I get the text from the broker and I look at it. I ain't gonna lie, like we're going deep about like what we need to go deep about. Like we're going ham. And I I see my phone's on the table and it's like things. I look at it and I see it from the broker. And then she's saying what she has to say, and I click on it. No, I'm being an asshole. So I look at the phone. I saw it. Your offer got accepted, and I looked at her, and I was like, I ain't telling her because it would not our conversation, our arguments, our conflict. It need to be and we needed to find a resolution before I come in and sweep her with the good news, and then we just forget about the topic at hand. Right? We had to come so. Shit turned out to be like 2 hours later. 2 hours later. We're gonna talk about that here in the podcast a little bit later on. But not Ian, Mr. Victor, give us the fun topic here.
All right,
Before he
fun
does that,
topic. I don't know if y'all seen what's going on, like this new little crate challenge.
Oh,
You
yeah.
guys seen it?
Bro, these people
Y'all
are
seen that crate
eating
challenge? So
shit.
would you, if you haven't, you can just YouTube it. It's easy. But a crate challenge. So would you guys do the great challenge? Would you do the great? I see Jonathan doing it, but like being like, I'll do this, but at the same time, he might back out because like I might like just break a bone.
I feel like I'd rather watch. You have to pay me to do it. I feel like Jonathan would do it if he saw somebody else do it. If someone else did it in front of him, then it gets competitive and he'd be like, no, I'm gonna do that too.
Bro, peer pressure is a real thing. And it don't take much to peer pressure me.
So they pretty much what it is. If anyone's listening or watching and they don't know what this is, YouTube it. But if you're on YouTube, you should see it already anyway. But so it's like these milk crates, and they put them like in a pyramid, and the challenge is to like walk up like a stairs and then walk down without falling. But the videos are hilarious because all these fools fall, and man, they land on
that one
crates.
guy, the hood dude, straight from the hood.
That's the only one that I saw. I didn't realize
Dude,
it was
it's
a
all
challenge.
happening in the hood. I didn't see one white person yet do it.
No, this was a black dude on his phone, just texting away. I don't know if he had flip-flops. I don't know if he had flip-flops on, but he crushed it, bro. Like he stood on top of it, like nonchalant, And I didn't get to see, I don't know. I think I had to go do like Desi was yelling at me, hey, it's bedtime routine. I was like, had to close my laptop. But Chris, did he finish it all the way through?
I think I was thinking of a different video than you're doing. I mean, if it's the same guy, then no, he didn't finish it. But yeah, the one I saw, he made it past halfway. He was like on his way down, and then he
was he on
then
his
they
cell phone?
collapsed on him. I don't remember him being on the cell phone.
I saw one.
Oh, no. He was rolling a blunt. That's what it was.
Okay.
He was rolling a blunt doing the crates challenge. Is that the one you saw?
Nah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the one I saw. Like,
yeah, you went thug. Yeah.
Nonchalant. He was just like focused on what he was doing, walking up the thing. And I didn't get to finish, but I'm assuming he finished it because it went viral. And I know normally all these go viral because they bust their shit, but this guy was very impressive. Stability. Yeah. He's been working on his core.
Yeah, but all these dudes is just shaking and they fall.
I saw like Dallas Cowboys. It was like Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I saw that
playoffs.
Yeah,
he touches it and it's like, like first round or whatever.
Yeah. Yes, I was probably editing that part out, so it's not that funny.
Are you a Cowboys fan?
Yeah, I am.
I like the Cowboys, but I mean, I don't care too much about NFL football. I'm more of college. It's just more exciting.
They mess up a lot.
Cowboys. Bump all that, guys. Let's jump into the topic. Let's go into it. Remember, guys, this topic's called the episode's called Next Play, right? Because that's exactly what you want to do when it comes to dwelling. Now, fellas, what do I mean by dwelling? Give me some examples, or maybe some examples that you have actually gone through, or moments.
Nice. Salud. No, dwelling. Just letting something like fester or sit mentally to where it like ruins your day almost. So something as small like driving in traffic and someone cuts you off. Like some people just let it slide. Some people they stay pissed off the entire day because of that one little thing.
Yeah, just like kind of continuously thinking about like the negative things, and letting it keep repeating in your head over and over again. When I was actually looking it up, the act of like dwelling is actually more like the bigger thing is like when you dwell or you think of those negative thoughts constantly, it's actually called rumination.
Ooh.
So it's like, that process of dwelling or thinking of all those negative thoughts has a different term that I didn't even know about until today, or until when I first started looking like a couple days ago.
That sounds like a disease my dad has called rheumatoid arthritis.
I'm proud of you for saying that whole word without
that actually was impressive.
Thanks, bro.
I've been working. Self-development is a real thing.
I've been working, homie. Let's go.
I don't think I could have said that.
Oh Lord, that's hilarious.
My dad's been saying that to me since I was little, bro.
There you go.
It's been in my environment.
RA for short.
All right. So what'd you say, Chris? You know the
actual term? RA for short.
RA for short. I wish my dad would have told me that, because I would have just latched on to that. RA. What does that mean? I don't know. Arthritis. All right, fellas. So I want some examples. Like, give me some real life examples of you dwelling. We all have dwelled before. I need some real life examples, guys. What do you have in your bag? Maybe that you can reflect on and be like, damn, maybe I dwell too long. Or how can you not shortcut it? But let's talk about some real life examples that somebody might be going through, or somebody listening.
Yeah, man, I was thinking about that, see if I've ever dwelled for a long period of time. So I normally don't dwell too much on things. Now, I may get down on certain situations in parts of life that might be dwelling, but might be a little different. But the times that I have dwelled, I can't really pinpoint one, right? But it's been one, a negative experience what I've dwelled on someone either, doing something that was
Triggering you.
Yeah, or triggering me. No, that's the reaction. That's not dwelling. I didn't even dwell on it.
I know you. That's why I gave you. Let me give you credit. Let me give you some credit because you didn't dwell on that scenario at all. Like you sent an apology right after. Like you're like, boom, boom, boom. Are we done? Cool, boom. Like you didn't want that energy. So that I need to speak highly of that because that's one way that we're going to be talking about in the future, how to move forward after dwelling, right? And you did it. You're like, I didn't want that bad energy, Jonathan. Let me just clear the air. And then we moved on. But for some of us, Chris, Ian, do you have any like real life examples of you dwelling maybe for a long extended period of time that can actually turn into depression at some points, right? Bad for your mental health for sure.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about this quite a bit the last couple of days, and I was just I thought of like different scenarios from different parts of my life. Like I remember, I think it was 8th grade. I was in a basketball league, and we were playing to make it to the championship game, and like we were down by 1 point, and I was inbounding the ball. And there was no one open, so I called timeout. But I pulled a Chris Webber, which coincidentally was one of my favorite players of all time. But yeah, we had no timeouts left, so they got we got the technical and they got the ball, and we didn't have enough time to get the ball back to tie it up or take the lead. So that one. It bugged me for a while because my coach. He was a super wealthy guy. I mean, looking at him, you would never have thought that, but this guy owned like a water park and a resort in Hawaii, and he had told us if we win the championship, he was going to take us all for free. And I think that put a lot more pressure on the team, and we should have won that game, but we let it get too close, and the other team. They just edged us out at the very end, and I dwelled on that for a while.
I think that happens to a lot of athletes because when talking about the actual topic of this, the actual name of this podcast is next play. That's one of the big coaching rules as a coach. When you study to become a better coach, you really focus on just the next play, right? When a kid messes up, when a kid fumbles the ball, when the kid makes or misses the last point shot, or whatever the case may be, any kind of failure or mistake in the game, you immediately need to not dwell on what just happened. But as a coach, your job is to mentor the kid and like next play, like that shit doesn't even matter, because if you keep dwelling on that next play, you're going to miss the next opportunity. So like in live sports, I think we have an advantage. If you've played sports, right? If you played sports, come along the years growing up, you may not know about dwelling. You may have, unless you had like a sophisticated high level coach who actually taught you the reasoning behind dwelling and not dwelling, how to move to the next play, why that was important. But athletics, I feel like that's something that's taught. Maybe you weren't self-aware of it, but let's go with Ian. I don't think Ian played any sports. So let's just play. Ian, do you have
football?
Any like examples of you dwelling?
Let me see. I feel like I might have in football, and I might have also in basketball. I possibly could have in baseball,
sports, weightlifting.
I could have in golf or even track. I don't know. I'm sure I can think of one. But dwelling. I don't know. Like if it's sports was gonna actually be my example. I remember plenty of times growing up, like playing an entire soccer game, basketball game, and literally is one mistake that just sticks with you. And that's typically what it is. Like you can do 100 things, and it's one thing that you do wrong, and it sticks and it bugs the living crap out of you. I'm trying to put it like I can't really think of anything in like particular. I have a bad habit about doing it. I know that though.
Was your sports, Ian? I mean, Victor, I didn't let Victor finish. Sorry, Victor, for cutting you off.
I mean,
was your sports? Hopefully it wasn't. If not, I have something that's non-sports related for like.
So
I have another non-sports.
Yeah, I was gonna just give you an example, just in my own relationship with my wife.
Perfect relationships. Let's go.
that there's something
Careful with your words, Victor.
Between, I know she's listening right now.
She's watching.
Careful with your words.
I love you, babe. That's good. But is that we've dwelled in not very much, but there's been a few topics in our relationship that we both like dwelled on. We're like, okay, like no one's budging type of thing. We dwelled on what each other said. And so and just in that was maybe 2 days, right, that we dwelled on. We dwelled on each other. I would say dwelled on like what was said, and I just repeat like
we've all been there, brother.
The scene in my head.
Yeah, doghouse.
And then but it's more like still upset or still like in the feelings of that moment, or just type of thing. But that's probably the only thing I can remember as far as dwelling on something so long and not really looking for like I said, either a resolution or the next play or moving forward to how to come to that the next step. But that's the only I can remember. As far as anything else, like I said, sports, I mean, we have that, but again, you just
every athlete
kind of move on. You move on, you have athlete, it, and so but as far as like very serious stuff, right, that negatively like impacted or brought like a little cloud over me, was like dwelling in that sense, would have been something like me and my wife had kind of clashed on, and she's dwelling on it, I'm dwelling on and stuff like that.
No, that's definitely relatable. There's two things I want to touch on. What makes an athlete a super awesome athlete, really quick, could just be the difference between how fast somebody overcomes that dwelling, right? Because we've all been there, and I think it comes from being self-aware, learning how to deal with dwelling, how to overcome that failure and just move on to that next play. You're able to just capture the next play and like your body language is different. You know immediately if somebody's dwelling in sports and athletics, when they mess up, their body language will tell you 1000% if they're back in or they're still on the last play. So before I even get there, I just want you to know, hey, if you're listening to this and you're like a dad and you're coaching and whatever the case may be, the body language is like a sure key that's going to tell you, yo, maybe you need to do some mentoring at that point, right? Not in the game, never in the game. It's all done in practice. In the game, it's too late, brother. But I do want to get to like a real life scenario and how this kind of held me back in professionalism in my career. I was dwelling on the why me. Like, why is this happening to me? Why is everyone else around me excelling at their career in the same playing field as me? Like, so let's just take the CG franchise, and I spoke about this before, and I have a crew of trainers with me, and they're getting promoted. They're getting like promoted again. And I'm here like, man, I'm doing exactly the same thing they're doing. And I'm so focused on so focused on comparing. That's dwelling. That's me being playing like, why is this happening to me? I'm doing the exact same thing, but I'm not getting any of the benefit. And if I feel like that's so true, because I think in the freaking workforce, it's so easy to be like, yo, this dude got promoted. I show up early. I do the exact same this guy did. Why is he getting promoted, right? The why me game. And I want to give a few more examples besides just playing sports, because anybody could be listening to this podcast, is, why am I broke? Why is this happening to me? Why am I in this situation? I'm a good person, right? You could be playing that game, or you hate your job. Why do I have to have a job? Why I hate going into work? Like, you're dwelling about your job. Like, dwelling, I want to say, just turns into that negative situation where you're just so focused on that. It could be your relationships. Vic hit the relationships. It could be, man, why do I have to be fat? I've been working out. I've been doing these things. Why am I so unhealthy? Why can't I get this down? You're playing this what if game in your head. And that can be very frustrating, is you're so focused on the why when you should be focused on the solution, the strategy, the plan, right? Because I certainly believe everything happens to you for a specific freaking reason. And the reason why I did not get promoted is because I thought I was doing what my fellow team members were doing, but I wasn't. I wasn't developing like they were. I was grinding in certain aspects like that, where I was putting all the hours in, but they were doing something behind the scenes that I wasn't really doing. And thank God I didn't get promoted, because like I said, guys, say I do get promoted, say I do rise up with everyone else. If I'm not ready for that opportunity, I'm just going to get exposed, and then it's going to feel even worse. That's like winning $1 million and losing it within a year. You touch it, you feel it. It's like, oh my gosh, everything is amazing. Nothing bad else is going to happen. And then boom, right? You weren't ready for that moment. So you need to be blessed that it hasn't happened yet for you, because things happen for a reason. Life doesn't happen to you. It happens for you. So I firmly believe in every adventure, in every obstacle, in every course of my life, whenever we got the text from the real estate guy, the guru that we learned from the course that we took, me and Chris, when he told us, hey, go find your own team, when we should, in my eyes, you should be given access to your team. Like, I have access to your team. They're not performing at a high level. Like, yo, I'm reaching out to you because I'm needing more help. And we get that text, go find your own team. Yo, because of development, because of the self-awareness, I took that as, oh, this is happening for you for a reason. Boom, I was able to not shift in that mindset. I was not able to give my powers to the what ifs, to, oh my God, I hate this. What am I going to do? Why me? And the answer I'm going to give you is, why not me? Hands down, why not me? That's the answer you should be asking yourself. The question you should be asking yourself, why not me? I want to go into, guys, real fast. I want to know, when you go into that failure, when you start playing the what if game, why are you thinking that? Like, why are you going into this feeling? What's causing you to stay in this situation, to dwell? Like, what triggers all this?
For a lot of people, it is, it's like an anxiety prone thing to do. So when you are anxious about doing something, you start worrying about it. You just constantly are thinking about it, it just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Like, and it becomes either like, it could become like a huge fear, and it's just something that makes it hard to overcome, or it can turn into depression, depending on what it is that you're dwelling over.
Y'all ever have those people that just talk about the past? Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I like a Napoleon Dynamite. His uncle, is it his uncle?
Uncle Rico.
He's always talking about, like, I could have went pro, and he throws the ball like so weird, and so he's living so much in the past. Like, why?
Like Al Bundy.
He's like he's dwelling on the past, and it's not even relevant anymore. That's what I'm trying to get at, because we get stuck in this little puddle. It's like the Crimea, the Crimea. I said something to Desi, is like a Crimea Whamburger, or give me some
hamburger.
Give me some like Wham fries. There's something like Cry Fries. What movie is that off? Is it good?
You want some French fries with that Wham burger?
No, Joe Dirt. There you go. Say it again, guys. Hey,
some French fries with that Wham burgers from Joe Dirt.
Oh my God.
Oh, the Joe Dirt.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I never thought we would quote Joe Dirt in this podcast.
Oh no, he says, "Hey, get him a Wham burger with some French fries."
Oh my gosh, why not? He has the best quote. Hey, life's a garden. Dig it, bro.
That's a good one though. Yeah. But
so
I think, go ahead.
Do you want the petty? Like, what are you looking for by crying? Like, what does that do? I don't understand.
I think that's why some people do dwell. I'm sorry, Vic. They're looking for that pity party, and when no one else is giving it to them, they're doing it themselves. Like, they want to feel like, they want someone to feel sorry for them, and if no one is, then they're just going to do it themselves, which is like self-destructive, right? But that's the only I can.
Yeah, I think it's just easier as well it's very easy to just to dwell, right? I think Chris brought up that technical term like rumination. It's very easy to just think on the negative, right? On the stuff that's not happening for you, on the things that went wrong. It's very easy to kind of fall into that.
Like you said that.
And just listening to the negatives, right? It's just so, for some reason, I think just as a human being, we tend to lean towards like negative. That's why the news is the news, right? So intriguing. Everything in the news is bad news. Nothing's ever good. because, you know, so we're like drawn to like negative things, and sometimes we get drawn to our own negative, like in our insecurities too. It's like one of those, like, I don't know, like I guess little I think about like the little devil on your shoulder, you know, or, you know, just bringing you down. It just kind of weighs on you, and then you start kind of just buying into that, all those negative things, and just because it's so easy, right, to do that, especially when things are not going, you know, the right way. So I think that's kind of most, I think what I would say is that it's easy, right, to just dwell and just be like, man, nothing's happening for me, nothing's ever will, I shouldn't even try anymore.
It's the easy path, brother.
Yeah.
I also believe, I don't know if maybe you guys agree, but I think it's lack of vision for the future. Right?
I would say maybe, yeah, I was saying those like
there was no plan B. Like this was it. That's why you're so upset.
Yeah.
There was no other thing out there. Like you put a period on yourself. Like, so I heard this crazy Inky Johnson. He was all like, man, he made a great like an analogy, but he's like, so many people dwell for one specific reason is because they put a period at the end of them, right? I could have made it pro, but I didn't make it pro, and then period. Like that was it. So that was like the big thing. They put a period, they put an expiration date on themselves. Like that was all I was meant to do, and now it's over. He's like, instead of putting a period, you need to put a comma. Like you were meant for more. You were meant to go into that other direction. Here's the quote. Let me find this quote. I think it's right here. Let's go to quotes, baby. Here it is. Never look back unless you're planning to go that way. Your energy flows where your focus goes. So if you don't have nothing to look forward to, you are forced to look backwards. Right? So you have to counterproduct that. Like if you're looking backwards, you need to counter that. What are you looking forward to? That's probably one reason why you're looking back, is because you have nothing to look forward. You put a period at the end of you, which it should be a comma, right? It should be a comma. And I want to go into, like, we talked about why people dwell. We want to go into, you know, why should you not dwell? What are the consequences of you dwelling? Watch, like, this is like, we need it home right here for everyone listening, because I feel like majority of us do a pretty damn good job at not dwelling, because we have some freaking self-awareness here and on this podcast and self-development here. All right. So we're going to go straight into it. I want to know from you guys, what are some consequences? Why should you not be dwelling, or why maybe you dwell, but why do we need to focus on that next play mentality?
I think dwelling on something too long, it's just going to prevent you from succeeding at something else, right? So the more you dwell, the less likely you're going to take a chance on another thing in your life, and you're just going to kind of keep the status quo. And then, you know, God forbid, at the end of your life, you're going to regret not doing a lot of things. And I think that word alone is probably the key thing I just said out loud, was regret. You're going to regret a lot of things you didn't do because you were dwelling so much on something else.
Yeah, to piggyback off of that, when you're putting your focus on something in the past, on the negative, you're preventing that focus to be on something for the future, something that you can accomplish, like your goal or your vision.
You're missing opportunities.
But I was going to say, the only time dwelling or something or rumination is good, it's a positive, is like if you're using whatever that is you're dwelling on to solve a problem, or like you had kind of talked about it a little bit. It's also good if it allows you to accomplish your goal. Like if it helps you figure out how to accomplish your goal.
So go back to dwelling. So I'll go back to the definition of dwelling, put that into context of how it may be good for you. This is good because we see dwelling as bad. You're saying it could potentially be a good thing.
So just like to go back to sports as an easy example, you have, like, for example, like Tom Brady and like Aaron Rodgers, they weren't happy about where they were drafted, or even Michael Jordan, like he thought he should have been the first pick. Like they were pissed off that someone was picked before them, or that they weren't picked where they thought they were going to be. And they always have that chip on that shoulder that helps them push them to the next level.
Well, we have to use Kobe on A24. I don't know if y'all saw, but Kobe, he had an interview with the Clippers, right? Everything went good. And then he asked, so am y'all going to draft me? And they basically said, no, we can't draft a kid. And, you know how that went. But yeah, I think dwelling could be a good thing. And I think just the way it's said, or like the words you use, can change how it's seen. So I guess sports is the perfect example. Like if you look at game film from previous games, you see mistakes you do, but you don't really dwell on it. It's you seeing the mistake you did and you correct it. So I guess if you could technically do that in life.
I don't know if that's called dwell. I might disagree. I think you notice the dwell, but you don't dwell when you focus on it. When you start developing your strategies and action steps to get better. Like, so we see a problem, there's a dwell, maybe in that little moment, it's like, but then the greats like Michael Jordan, maybe, all the greats in, let's just talk sports here, Tom Brady, all of them, there's actionable steps. If I know what I need to do to get better, let's get there. You're no longer dwelling when you start taking action to look for a solution.
Yeah. I mean, but it is dwelling because they keep looking back at that one moment that.
Do they keep looking back if they find?
What do you think keeps driving them?
Yeah, I think the point is like, hey, if it is only good to dwell, even though the definition of dwell is to be like down on your laurels, is really dwelling, when these people here are not really like down on their laurels. They're just like, all right, I need to get better. Make me look at my mistakes, I can correct it. So it's a little, the approach is different, right? From like these like, Tom Brady and these like big time, all-time great players. But I think in life, like you have to, I would say this, if we're going to move on to that, but seeing things from the past, mistakes, things that didn't go wrong, seeing them as an opportunity to get better, and just, right, and not just stay in that moment of defeat, right? You can't stay in that moment of defeat. You gotta, say, hey, I didn't do well, that didn't work out, right? But I'm not gonna I'm not gonna let this defeat me, right? I'm gonna move forward and see where the solution is. So I think you got to have that moment of decision making. Say, is this gonna define me? Right? People make mistakes in life all the time. Some people they lose like a lot, like they lose their jobs, good paying jobs, they lose their homes, they lose like.
I mean, we can use Mike Tyson as an example. Like he was one of our topics. Like look at what he went through, and he could have dwelled on it and just said, "Oh, why me? Like, why does all this happen to me?" But
and I think we always go back to, and I think we talk about, I think we talk about this as far as there's always a choice to make, right? You can either choose to dwell. There comes a time when you gotta choose. It's human nature to feel bad for yourself when things don't go right. That's normal, right? But you have to make a choice to where, okay, am I going to choose to dwell on this and let it just define me for however time and lose the opportunity, right? That maybe I can correct it, right? Or I'm going to choose to now move past that, go into my next play and figure out what went wrong and just and get there, right? Like example
that way.
Yeah, example of Jonathan.
Like transitioned for a solution, it's no longer dwelling.
Yeah. Well, you guys are here, Chris and Jonathan, right? Their offer was accepted, right? They had a point in a moment where they were like really upset, thinking, why is this happening? We're doing everything right. Why can't anyone tell us what we're doing wrong if we are doing something wrong? But they didn't dwell on it, right? They just kept on moving. And then here they are, right? 8 months, right? And so I think sometimes you just got to make that choice of, all right, let's see what we're going to do here. I'm not going to dwell. And it's okay to dwell. Like I said, I think it's okay to do. It's human nature to dwell just for a little bit, right? You do got to process what happened to move on. There has to be some sort of closure on the moment, right, that you had, and then just move to the next play.
I want to speak about what you just said about the real estate. I don't think I've ever dwelled in the adversity that came along with the real estate, because my mindset has already shifted years ago.
Yeah.
Where all my adversity, all my obstacles are a blessing. You may not see it in the midst of it, but it's making me tougher. It's building something. You got to find the positive. I know Victor said, the easy way out is the negative. I get that. But if you want easy, everyone can fall to easy. Like, that's just like a default. I want easy. But knowing what we're trying to accomplish, when it's bigger than us, what we're trying to do, build a legacy. Like, my why is so big that I'm not going to let me just fall too easy. I understand that 8 months of looking for a property, 8 months of going through different brokers and trying to find which broker is going to work best for us, and being ghosted and missing meetings and just being unappreciative. All that was for a purpose. Like, you could see that as a negative. Maybe you're doing something wrong, but it was building us. It was building our perseverance. It was giving us the tools of how do we analyze brokers better. And after each one, we got better. We got more specific. We set more expectations. There's more meetings. And now we're like en route to exactly what we have. And now we have an offer in, but we wouldn't have an offer in if we didn't go through all of that, or say we did. That's why I'm saying, that's what I want the point to be, that you have to treat these adversities, these moments where you could possibly dwell, and not dwell because they're a blessing to you. Because if none of that 8 months happened, and say the first deal we got to offer in, what could have been worse is we got to offer in, we got to the contractor phase, we're money in, like we're financially in, and then we hit our first adversity and we weren't built to handle it. We didn't have that mental perseverance to be like, oh shoot, let's just keep moving forward, next play. But because we didn't have that 8 months of built perseverance for the next play, we quit. We're too deep, Chris. We're too deep. We have our money in. There's so much happening. It needs plumbing. You know what? They decided that this needs to be happen. There's more fees involved, and we would have lost. We would have not only lost, we would have lost our money. So, like, I want to say thanks
to stay on that
for a reason.
Yeah, and to stay on that, like, it seems like each broker we've talked to, they also, like, when we're looking at properties, they're like, oh, that one may only net you this amount of money. But for us, we've always like took that as, that's still a learning experience. Like, even though some people might dwell that they didn't make $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 on a deal, like, we're looking at it as, it's just another life experience for us. It's a way for us to grow and figure out what we're doing, so we can get those 50, 60, $100,000 deals.
Speak
yeah, 100 mil too would be great, but
speak it.
that'll be a little while though before we get to that point.
Let's transition. How did we get to the point? Because I feel like this team here has done a really freaking awesome job of not dwelling. What are some strategies to overcome dwelling? How do we get to this point?
I think you guys kind of been mentioning a little bit. Have a vision for yourself, have some goals, have some step goals, kind of write out what you want to accomplish, what do you want to get out of something, and then and really think it through. Right. So then when bad things happen, it's just part of the process. Right. But I think part of your plan should be, or I guess your expectations to be, is that something's going to go wrong. Something's always going to go wrong. Like, there's going to be a bump in the road, no matter what road you're riding on. There's going to be some bumps, and just got to expect it and just embrace it. So have a plan, have some vision, embrace the hard, all right? Know it's going to happen, right? And I think if you do that, then when bad things happen, you're not so much dwelling on it, but now you're looking at it in a different way. So I think, just doing those things, right? I think
you're my self-awareness guy. You always bring it up, because literally the greatest people in the world are the most self-aware. Victor, on to something, brother. That's why you always bring it. That's why it needs to be repetitive. It needs to happen almost every podcast, because that's usually the first freaking step, right? is you got to be super rare. You got to know what you want, because life's going to give you what you want. It's going to totally give you what you want and what you worked for and what you nurture for. So like I said, all of us have done a pretty good job with the next play mentality, not dwelling. So Ian and Chris, what have you done to kind of develop this self-awareness to just overcome really fast?
Yeah, so I just thinking about the positives instead of focusing on the negative, or like just asking yourself, like, is it really worth it to dwell over whatever it is? Like something at work pissed you off, or you missed a shot. Like, are you gonna really dwell over it? Like, you just need to think, okay, what's the positive that came out of that? It's like, okay, that's just one extra repetition. But another thing that I actually read about, I haven't done it personally, but I read about it, which I thought was actually kind of smart, was set some time to dwell on something. Like set up a specific time. Like you can even put it in your calendar, where if something's bothering you, just write it down so you can go back to it and think about it then, and then just get over it, and then just stop thinking about it after that scheduled time. So maybe give yourself 30 minutes to analyze why you're dwelling over it, and then just move on.
I'm glad you said it. So I was going to ask you guys, who taught you this? Did it just happen by
the internet?
Osmosis? Right? Like it just, I mean, even becoming a super awesome athlete and develop a next play mentality. Like I said, if you're unaware of you doing just becoming next play mentality, you're just unaware. Like somebody,
I think part of
like sit down with you and like really break this down for you to understand. So whether it's a mentor or, like Chris said, a book, right? We are on self-development. Everything we talk about has to be learned.
And part of it is personality too. Like some people are more prone to dwell on things more than other people are. Like some people have those anxieties or like that depression that causes them to dwell on things longer than the average person.
Could be a nurture thing too, how you were raised.
Or nurture, nature, like it absolutely could be both. But does that give you permission to dwell longer because it's my personality?
I think if you use it,
no, but I mean, I'm just saying that's if you
use it as a crutch to, like, hold yourself back, then that becomes, negative to where it is going to hold you back because you say it does.
Ooh. Your words are so strong. I was listening to a podcast. I don't know if it was Oprah, but it was like your words and your mind are the strongest thing that we have. Ian.
So,
what you got when it comes to overcoming, not dwelling? What has worked for you? Or
that's something I'm
to work on that.
Yeah, that's something I'm still working on. There's some days where I'm pretty in tune with, my feelings and emotions, and other days where it's just a little bit harder, probably the more tired days or more stressful days. So not dwelling on something is still something that I'm trying to work on. Now, a tactic that I'm trying to use is actually to Chris's point. Like once I feel it, a lot of the time when we feel something, we always ask why instead of, okay, well, thinking of it in a way of like, it's here. So accept it. Give yourself permission to feel it, and then get past it.
What's the first thing somebody wants to do when they dwell?
Go eat a pizza.
Complain to someone.
Or cry. Yeah, complain.
You want to complain to somebody, huh?
Yeah.
And what are they going to do? You're
probably
you are the sum of the people you hang out with. So if you're a complainer, if you're eating that wham burger and cry fries, whatever,
French fries.
What are they most likely eating too?
Same damn thing.
The same damn thing. And so anybody listening, if you are super in tune with yourself, or you're listening to this podcast and you are aware that, man, maybe I am a dweller, maybe I always think negative first before I think positive, then this is something that you have to be super self-aware of and quit lying to yourself about it. Right? You have to feel the burn, look at the person in the mirror and be like, shit, this is me. This is me right here. And the probability you getting out is going to be much harder than somebody who has a positive mindset, because listen, your environment you're like, hey, what does Jamal say? Your environment, your exposure is
I don't remember.
the level of your success. It's just gonna be a little harder for you because if your environment's already negative, guess what? All the positive people probably aren't your friends for a reason. And those people are probably the ones that would be helping you get out of your situation, but you don't want to hear it because they're trying to help you, but you don't want help. You want pity. You want I feel you. I was gonna say
you want to be heard instead of.
I'm not trying to be sexist. You're like, hey, I feel you, girl.
You don't want a solution. You just want to be heard.
There it is. And so let's I want some more solutions. I want to like really hit home because there's a ton of solutions. Maybe there's some more protocols, maybe there's some more strategies to overcome the dwelling aspect of it. We talked about self-awareness, we talked about changing your environment, we talked about being more positive, and we talked about book reading or having some kind of wisdom. What are some other factors maybe you may not know, or maybe this is some research that you just found that you didn't know, now you know?
So one thing that was kind of interesting was imagining the worst case scenario. And like, hear me out for a second. Like, yeah, that sounds bad. Like, you're like, why would I think about the worst case scenario? But when you're thinking about the worst case scenario, you can think about what you can do to solve that, or like so if something does come up that hits that scenario, you're already prepared for it. And that relieves you a little bit, and so you're not going to dwell on it as much because you've already thought it through.
So like mentally prepare for the worst.
Yeah, you're mentally
and if
preparing.
The worst doesn't happen, then hey, that didn't go so bad.
Like Eric Thomas was just recently talking about on one of his podcasts how he's always prepared. Like he's even though if he may have not done a speech in person before, like he's done that speech a million times, whether it's like saying it in the shower or on like in his car or whatever. Like he's mentally prepared himself, so like he's not worried about it. He's got that confidence to do it.
They call that something.
They're saying
there's a video. So there's a Olympian, Michael Phelps, and one of his coach was like, play the tape. That's what they called it. That's what his coach and him called it. It's called play the tape. And his tape was him visualizing everything that he needed to do to execute on the Olympian day. Right? Like literally from holding your breath to the stroke, to the left stroke, to your feet in the water, exactly having the end in mind. Having the end in mind is a plan of action to overcome that dwelling, or actually make you in a better position to not dwell, because you might hit the opportunity, right? So that's just some pre-planning that you could do to not be in a position to dwell, right? Is that what you're saying, Chris?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I forgot what podcast I was listening to. They were just talking about Michael Phelps, and it's that like, yo, he's studying the tapes, man. He's watching it. He has the end in mind. But I guess we want to wrap this up. And dwelling could prolong your opportunities. You could have missed opportunities. You could really just decrease your quality of life, because dwelling could lead to depression. And it could spiral out of control, and you can go into emotional eating, and just a lot of things that could happen from dwelling, guys. So if you know that this is sometimes that you can be affected by, like Victor always says, you have to have some kind of self-awareness. And the reason why you're probably dwelling is because you have nothing to look forward to. All right. You put a period behind your name. All right. You need to put a comma. So self-awareness, have a vision, have a purpose, have some values, so that you know what you're trying to achieve. Because when you have that, guys, whatever you're trying to accomplish, it's bigger than you. And when something's bigger than you, you're most likely going to stick to it no matter what people say. No matter what people say. And then when you start shifting that mindset, it always starts from the top down. It starts right here in your mind. Victor said it, your words, your mind, everything. You have the most powerful tool you have is your words and your mind. Like your mind, and you got to shift it. It's so easy to think negative. Start thinking positive. Even though this bad boy is empty, in my head,
it's still full.
It's still full. It's just how I think these days, guys. And
you got to have a fridge full of them. Keep refilling.
Plan. have an end in mind. Jonathan, you might run out. Open the fridge. There's still more.
There you go. That's probably
Like,
the best
have a
analogy
plan.
we've given out.
All I gotta say is have a bigger vision, right? Because when you have a bigger vision, anything that happens now is a blessing that's gonna help you get to your bigger vision. That's it. Boom. Y'all want to add anything to that bad boy? Go ahead. I feel like
I think Jonathan said it perfectly, guys. So have a vision for yourself, have a purpose. Don't dwell. Look at things as opportunity. Don't look at it as a negative. And just keep on pushing.
Keep on keeping on.
I want more adversity because I know what it does.
Ask for it.
Come on, bring it. It's just gonna make me stronger. I need my
True,
biceps
true.
to grow like 2 more inches.
No, I'm about to block out your whole square. I've been flexing the whole dang podcast. But anyways, I found a little quote and it just says, "You can't have a better tomorrow if you're always thinking about yesterday." As always, thanks for joining us today. Till next time, peace and love.